And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, May 3rd, 2014. This is Season 8, Episode 18. I'm Scott.
I'm James.
I'm Dennis.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Nathan.
And welcome to the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. You can check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat, as well as over on Facebook. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. Haven't heard from you guys in a little bit, so yeah, send us an email, everyone at ingamechat.net. We are streaming the cam feed right now through Twitch. You can head over there and find us. Go to twitch.tv, look for In-Game Chat, and there we are. You can join us in the chat room while we broadcast, and we got some people in the chat room already. Let's hope the chat room thing lists my viewers. It does. Cavalier UK, Lavos, Multile, Nathan 92, and Three Blades currently hanging out in the chat room with us tonight. So welcome, guys, and welcome everybody listening. Hello. Is that a... What is that?
My apologies.
Time is looped upon itself.
Can you turn your phone on?
Fine.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Is Matt here?
In spirit.
In spirit, he is, yeah. In spirit.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. And to get into it, obviously, James is back here with us. He's missed it. Well, you sort of missed last week. Caught the last segment of you last week. So
Right.
What's been going on? I know that last we talked to you, you were on a retro kick.
Yeah. No. I was on a kick to start having
To
a retro
start
kick.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's going to take a minute. It's going to take a little bit of
You were
time.
telling me how that's going to work, and I was like, "That's interesting."
It is interesting.
I want to do
Everybody wants to get on board the
that too.
retro gaming thing for us. I think it's a really good time, both in age and experience, for people like us to recalibrate our senses a little bit, kind of cast back and play games that aren't plugged in, play games that are remind us very much of a time that we were happier with, but not necessarily things that I have played before. Very specifically reaching back to things that I have not played, which is plenty. I've had a backlog for as long as I can remember. So I haven't gone, too much further in all of that. I picked up Child of Light, which is not retro, so
No.
but very, very current, and have been playing that.
Yeah. The interesting thing about your retro thing is that there is a locally, and I don't, we've got a chat room. That's about how I can tell how many people are listening to our show, except for when you guys call in, and then we know that other people are listening and that sort of thing. Which 334-272-9228 is the number, but. Locally here, I don't know how many people locally are listening to the show. We have no idea unless you let us know, either by phone calls or just randomly sending us an email and letting us know that you're local, or Facebook or something like that. But there's a store just down from where me and James live, not very far, called Retro Game Planet, and they do buy, they sell, they trade. It's nothing but retro stuff. I stopped in there today, just spontaneously, had no, didn't intentionally plan to do that, but I was like, let me go over there and check this place out. And man, they are covered in nothing but old games. Cartridges all over the place, which you can't buy used. eBay, basically.
Yeah.
About the only way you can get those. But you can't go into a GameStop or something like that and pick up any of the cartridge stuff. They just don't sell that stuff anymore, or at least the ones I've been in. But anyway, they're doing their grand opening next weekend, and they're doing a SNES Mario Kart tournament
Oh, fun.
next weekend. So, tournament stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I ate fairly well as a college student because of
Because of those?
because of Super Nintendo Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I got very, very good at it. A guy I knew had a copy, and my suite mates and a few other people in my dorm were always running some kind of hijinks, some caper of some kind, right? And for a while, the caper was like tournaments for, everybody like throwing in a little pocket money.
Yeah.
And winner-take-all tournaments for Super Nintendo Mario Kart. And it was the only thing they ever did that I was any good at. And that it may be why they stopped doing it, because I was really, really good at it. It was about the only time I was ever able to eat using my own money, my first year in college, while living in that time. Then they went to bingo. Then they went from Mario Kart to bingo. You can't win
What?
bingo. Which again may be why they actually
You just need the
went there,
sandbag
because I was running the board. Yeah, but that's like my whole claim to fame. The only tournament style thing I have ever had any success at whatsoever, because I was literally and figuratively hungry for the win.
Yeah, it's called motivation.
Yes, it was serious motivation.
Yeah, they've got a nice little setup there and a lot of old stuff. Power gloves, Virtual Boys, tons of old systems, and they've got 2 big screen TVs set up to where a little lounge area that you can pretty much pick anything off the shelf and go play it for the most part. Oddly enough, for a retro place, they had a PS4 hooked up. They were playing Towerfall while I was in there. But yeah, it's a great little place. So anyway, just wanted to mention that for their grand opening. It is in Prattville, and you can find them on Facebook, and you can find them on Twitter. It's Retro Game Planet. So it's always cool because, probably a lot of local people don't know about them. And oddly enough, there's a lot of local people who probably don't know about us. So,
Oddly enough,
yeah. But yeah, it's when a store pops up for stuff like that, it's always good, especially a little independent store, guy
Right.
doing his own thing. So Rustin and the guys, hello over there in case you're listening. Anyway, moving on from that, so you've done that. You got Child of Light.
I got Child of Light, which I've been playing a little.
You almost got Daylight.
I almost got Daylight, but then I read some things, and it
Yeah.
changed the entire nature of how I view $10. Because $10 is essentially the trigger point for I don't care.
$10 is usually the impulse buy, right? That's usually
Right. If I have
it's $10.
if I have some interest in
Right,
it, right?
yeah.
I'm not just going to throw $10 at anything in the world. But if I think this could interest me at some point in time in the future, $10, okay, I'll throw $10 at that. And then I read what had been written by people who had thrown $10 at it, and I decided I'm not going to do that. No thanks.
Yeah,
No,
I heard
thank you
mixed
at all.
reviews. I haven't seen anything quite that bad.
Well, it's not.
You're describing it like it's like this abomination.
It was
of a game.
already going to be a thing that was only worth $10. So now you're putting it down. Really what it did was it made me think, this has gone from a curiosity, which like 10 or 15 bucks, if I'm curious about it and I think there might be some reward, something worth digging through, right, at the end of my curiosity, I will pay that. Now it's kind of dropped down to a point where it's borderline chore, and I don't know that there's anything I can get out of it. It was only ever going to offer me 3 or 4 possible opportunities for interest. It apparently does not run well. It apparently does not look good enough to run as bad as it does. So the story, script, narrative, however you want to express that, is apparently just pants. It's just bad. Written by Jessica Chobot.
Really.
Apparently. So I heard nothing good about it at all. I know there are people who picked it up on the consoles because it is the first.
It has that Twitch integration.
It does have the Twitch integration in it, which seemed kind of sort of okay when I watched a couple of streams, but it didn't get anything like it. I don't know. It appeared to be of little interest to anyone other than the people who kept spamming the chat room with the commands. So and it's the first. What is it? UE4
Yeah. Unreal
engine game. Is that
Did
right?
not know that.
Yep, it is. I just checked that out.
Okay, I think a lot of people were picking it up because they just wanted to see. Okay, how's it doing? Right, this Here Know Nothing game on the console.
When I was looking at the reviews on it, people, this is for PC. I don't know about PlayStation, but a lot of people were saying it kind of reminded them of the original Quake at certain points with the graphics. I don't know why.
In like an absolute sense, like this looks like Quake.
Yeah, like it had a sense to it, like a Quake. And they just said it didn't look very graphically pleasing in certain places.
I mean, there are a lot of things that can look like Quake and make me happy, but they're all really old. So I don't know. I just didn't hear anything. Yeah, I didn't hear anything good about it, and I just was like, I'm gonna take my $10 and I'm gonna go over here and give them to Ubisoft and play Child of Light, which is
kind of a strange thing to say.
Is it a strange thing? I don't know.
Well, maybe not for console.
Yeah, I bought it on the PS4 because it's not very expensive.
Yeah.
And I had not paid much attention to it, I will be honest.
I haven't either. You know, the first time I had heard about it, but it started picking up its pace last week. We had W. Matthew in the chat room throwing it at us, saying, "Oh, talk about Child of Light." And so,
well, here we are. Going to talk about Child of Light.
Talk about Child of Light.
I really do have a tendency to ignore smaller indie or indie class games. I know it is not technically an indie thing, but you know, anything at that development class, I have a tendency not to pay an enormous amount of attention to until it gets very, very close to release. That's not a prejudice or anything I have against it necessarily. It's just, it is a crowded market, and it is very difficult to tell which of those things I think are going to be of any genuine value. And I have a tendency to hope that the community kind of churns through a lot of the information regarding which things at that level are really going to be worth something, and like which platforms do we think they'll be best on, and all of that other stuff. I'm letting the hive mind do the thinking for me, to be honest. So right there at the very end of it, with $10 safely secured very far away from daylight, I thought I'd pick that up. It sounded charming. It actually sounded like something very modern that might come close to scratching not necessarily the indie itch, but something with simple gameplay, simple charms, straightforward mechanisms. Somebody somewhere, you know what, somebody left a hook in me when they said Grandia style combat, and that was it. $15, Grandia style combat certainly it's charming, it's beautiful, you know, it's super pretty. So I am playing it, have been playing it, like it a great deal. There are things I don't like about it, but again, $15, you know, it's not a huge, it's not a huge buy-in, so you can forgive certain things. The weird rhyming scheme, which doesn't bother me as much as it does.
That.
Yeah, some people, it's a real, it's a real problem for a lot of people. I don't know. I find it. The game as a whole seems to be told in a very fairy tale, childlike perspective, and the rhyming seems kind of simple and childlike. So it, in a world that seems to be trying to deliver a narrative idea, like something happened, something like a fever dream happening in the mind of a child.
In a world.
Right.
No, go ahead.
Only, but not so much.
Yeah.
If you could do that in a little girl voice, it would get the point across. But it's a very childish, innocent, kind of playful fairy tale presentation. I don't mind awkward, cheesified rhyming scheme. I just don't mind it, you know? For some people, that doesn't seem to have any charm whatsoever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It certainly has, though. The thing that it apparently decided to make the news for was
an easy
a
mode
couple
and a hard
of
mode.
well, it was the really weird outlier reviews, wasn't it? There were an awful lot of people who just loved it, 9s and 10s and stuff like that from an awful lot of outlets, and then 2 or 3 of them that were giving it 5s or 6s, and it seems really, really strange when a game works that way. But it had apparently a lot to do with the difficulty. There's a normal difficulty mode and a hard difficulty mode. And most reviewers, and I would say probably a majority of gamers default to normal. If the word normal is presented to you, you will think that this is the baseline normalized experience for how the game should work. All of the systems are probably at their most perfect balance in a normal mode. Hard mode means that things are skewed toward people with expert timing and abilities and whatever, spidey sense or something. I don't know.
Just looking for a challenge, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
But people who are familiar with the game modes or whatever kind of constructs the game may use. It's people who are familiar with it and they want more of a challenge. And then an easy mode would be for the children, you know, if you want to hand it to your kids or whatever. But this game only has normal and hard, and apparently normal is easy mode and hard is like normal mode, sort of. So many of the reviewers played it, you know, not being totally unfair to them, you know, played it on normal and said this is just ridiculous. It's shallow, it's boring,
it is a
it's
game
dull.
for babies.
It is a game for babies, and again, in defense of that point of view, if your normal mode, as advertised, doesn't have difficulty high enough to initiate interaction with basic game mechanics, right? That's kind of wordy, but if you're playing normal mode and you wind up not having to use half the things available in the game because it's never even remotely hard enough, you're never in any threat of death, so you don't have to use more complicated or more varied skill trees with different characters. You can just essentially button mash your way through. Well, that's, you know what? The baseline experience really should engage every game mechanic designed to be a part of the game. I think it's fair of them to say that the experience I played did not do that. The game is boring, essentially. Having said that, the defense is, well, you can alter the difficulty, you know, in place at any time. You could have made it harder. To which they respond, well, but I'm playing normal mode. Why is normal mode not normal? And you can imagine, given a history of really balanced, well-managed, professional and mature conversations between Arthur Geese and the rest of the world, how well that performed on Twitter. And it really didn't. It just went back and forth forever. And both sides are essentially at fault. And there are a number of people out there who are saying, we really should change the way we name our difficulty settings. We really should approach this a little bit differently in terms of the experience, right? Like, do you have any idea what you're doing whatsoever? This is for you. No, don't call it normal. Don't call it anything. Just say, you know,
Beginner or casual.
yeah, how do you feel about this? And like, are you 7? Go here. And then, is your name RJ Streety? Go here. Or something to that extent. Don't give it a name, because there is, even inside your own head. How many times have I made fun of you for playing on easy just because you wanted to bowl your way through a campaign?
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
A lot. I mean, seriously, that's just between you and me, and I'm just doing it I'm just yucking it up
Right.
at your expense. But there is some stigma, even internally, some psychological stigma of like, God, should I be doing that? It's not like a war you fight with
I don't
yourself,
do
but
it.
there is a subtle,
Yeah.
subconscious belief that maybe I should not be doing that.
Yeah, I
So-
did it. The only times that I did that were the Call of Duty games. I was going Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. I was playing those back to back, and they were on a rental. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna rent it. And this was not rental at Redbox. This was rental from like Blockbuster at the time.
Oh, I miss that.
Yeah, you know I do.
Not just the convenience, man. I mean, since my brain is apparently engaged in retroactive
Yeah.
stuff, I miss the feeling of, hey man, I want something. Let me go like just rifle through. You know, I mean, the GameCube is certainly wonderful, and Redbox kind of feels like a little slice of that. But I miss going to the Blockbuster. I miss like pacing back and forth in front of the store,
Yeah.
waiting for them to unbox whatever shipped that day. You know?
What was it? What was it? One price for 5 days when you rented the games out there?
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. And it was whatever. I miss it a little bit. But anyway, I'm sorry. I interrupted.
Well, no, it was just that I rented them, and it was like I'm gonna plow through them because I'd only ever played in the first game. I'd only ever played the multiplayer. I never even played the campaign. So it was like 3 years of me jumping back into this campaign to get through that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna plop it on easy and just burn through it and go through because I didn't care about the story. I didn't care. Just doing it so that I could be caught up for, I think it was 3 or something. I don't know what they were doing. But just so I could be caught up with it and just, I guess, have that experience with it. But I didn't care. But, something like BioShock or whatever, I played those on normal. I rarely ever go the hard route for anything. I rarely ever do. I may on Thief or games that give you that selection to...
But it's an altogether different
do
thing.
some modifiers. I may change
It
some
isn't
things.
just hard. It's more about tailoring and customizing.
Right.
the
But if I'm given the
experience,
option of easy, normal, hard...
you're going to go with normal.
Normal.
And there are several reasons for that. A, hard. People have done such a poor job over the course of many years at making bad hard modes. And I mean, I know that you enjoy them. I know that you enjoy the challenge, RJ, but hopefully you can at least agree that in many cases people take a very cheap and easy route towards hard. My weapons do less damage. The enemies have more health. I take more damage because I have less health, and that's about it. Enemies become bullet sponges. I become tissue paper. Done, done, done. There's our hard mode. And
that's pretty much it.
And for a lot of people, that ceases to be fun. That doesn't change the nature of the challenge.
Just makes it more tedious.
It makes it a lot more tedious.
That's all it does.
And easy, again, like I said, I think there's a strange psychological hook for a lot of gamers. They just don't want to do it. It's not that they feel like worse people. It's just they really do feel drawn to normal regardless of what the experience with the game is.
Well, it's like I said, it's what's expected to be what the developer intended you to play at.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
And then, of course, there's what your achievement list is going to say,
Oh, there's that too. Yeah.
right?
It's always fun to finish a game and get 3 achievements at the end of it instead of 2 or just the 1. When it's like, oh, you finished it on easy, normal, hard. And
Right.
You get all 3 back to back.
I think ideally, and I think the Souls games speak to this, difficulty levels shouldn't exist. I personally think they should not. I think some of the most perfectly designed and balanced games ever made had no difficulty levels. They were merely the game.
Yeah. There's no difficulty. Well, I don't know this for certain, but from what I can remember, I'll ask RJ on this one. Is there any difficulty mode in sports games?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I'm pretty sure, like in MLB The Show, you have veteran, all-star, legend modes.
Okay, I'm thinking because I was thinking of racing games. I don't remember. I'm not sure of any racing game that I know of that has a easy, normal.
The last racing
hard.
game I played with difficulty was maybe Daytona USA or something like that. But only difficulty it did was cars ran a little faster and you had more laps to navigate through, things of that nature. Or maybe you had your tires didn't hold the road as much as they used to the further you went on.
I was going to say, some of them
laps.
might actually engage different physics,
Yeah.
degrees of physics, as opposed to like
Well,
arcade
yeah.
at one end and then simulation at the
Maybe
other.
something like Forza. I guess I'm thinking of more the arcade styles because that's all I play is the Need for Speed and the Burnout stuff. No difficulty mode there. The pinball games that I play, there is no difficulty mode in that. And again, this isn't going on your normal everyday release type games sort of situation that you would have for anything else. But some of them have them, some of them don't. And then some have the outliers of like a 99 mode, or for Batman the I'm the Night mode, where it's like you die, you're dead. That's it. You know, your game has to restart from
And
the
that's
beginning.
that kind of thing is fine.
Yeah.
If you're raising
Yeah.
the complexity of the game or the consequences above and beyond the normalized experience, that's perfectly fine. But whatever.
Yeah.
Different people have different opinions about it. I will say that about the only thing here is they really should have considered naming their difficulty levels something entirely different. And you know what? If you're a game reviewer, I know you're busy, but take a stab at the other difficulty levels, just because it's part of the game. Even if you can't get all the way through it, even if you only do a portion of it, regardless of whether you play the normal experience because it's called normal, I don't care. Just take a moment, would you, to at least try to examine what else the developer has to offer, because there is an audience for something other than your personal time efficient normalized experience. Thank
I
you
was
very much.
thinking more of if there are time constraints when reviewers do that, but don't they?
There's-
I mean, they're trying to like get it out quick as
they're
they can. or
trying.
something
They're
like
doing
that.
churn. They're working just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
But I don't care. That excuse only goes so far when your job is to play video games for a living. Thanks. Put it on hard mode for like a second, Arthur. Just for a second, man. You know, just so you can be holier than thou in yet another facet of your. It's whatever. You know, I'm not. I'm just saying. And you're reviewing a video game. Hard is part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, click on the hard, man. It's okay. I don't even mind that you do not finish on hard. Just sample it for me. Just a little bit.
Because imagine if he had, for this particular game, probably would have discovered that, oh wait, my assessment from this is
There were multiple, at least a couple of reviews for that game that said, and I started it on easy and it was like kind of dumb, so then I boosted it to hard and it felt great.
mm-hmm.
So, I started it on hard, and it feels great. I like it a great deal in terms of that difficulty.
I
As
will.
a RPG style combat thing, which is, in my opinion, much easier for anybody to get past because it doesn't require so much reflexive activity. You know, but
I don't know if it was Arthur, if it was I don't think it was him. I think it was somebody. I think it was somebody else who said that they could not. They reviewed a game, but they had to make sure that maybe it was Sterling, who said that I did not finish this game, that sort of thing. It's a really good feeling. I played the game on normal. It was God of War Ascension. There was that part in there, the Trial of Archimedes, that people complained about being way too difficult. In fact, they released a patch that dropped the difficulty down of that particular section of the game. I got it beat through there before they released that patch, and it was a good feeling to get through something that other people had struggle with.
What exactly was the difficulty?
It was a, says the guy.
No, I want to see exactly what it is that make you put out a patch other than people complaining. Well, what exactly?
well,
made it
people
difficult?
complaining is probably
It was
exactly what did it.
It was a section of the game that was almost an endurance round.
Okay.
You had a number of enemies to get through on a single bar of health. And you would get through that wave, wait a little bit, and then you'd have to get through the next wave, and then you would get through the next wave. And each wave, it got more difficult with the enemies that they gave you. The enemies kept getting stronger up till you got to like mini bosses that you had to fight throughout this. So you're giving me that look of like, so what?
Yeah, I'm
It
still
does
not
sound-
seeing it. I'm
And?
not seeing it.
Yeah, it does sound kind of like
It was a struggle. It took me
Really?
many a try to get through it. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah,
I mean,
Um,
it sounds like a game.
I know. I understand.
That's what it
it was
is.
a challenge, and you got through it, and you, like you said, you had that good feeling of like you accomplished.
Here's the
it.
interesting thing about where we live in now, which is a time of instant communication, instant feedback type situation.
Right.
Had this game released years and years and years ago, before there was a social media like this, they'd have never known or even cared at the time. By the time they got the feedback of what was going on with it, they would, it would have been way past what they could have gone back to release something to patch it or something like that. It just didn't. But now you're in a sense where you can have this instant feedback of, well, I played it on normal, and then they're like, well, let's fix that. Let's make it casual. And what was the other thing for Child of
Expert, I
Light?
believe.
No, Child of Light is normal and hard.
It is getting patched to be casual.
Oh, okay,
Normal-
casual
normal
and hard.
hard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What it's going to be.
Right.
Yes.
But that's from the instant feedback that they're getting, and it was the same for
And that is
particular
good.
game
That is
too.
good feedback for
Yeah.
a game that's actually already in the wild and being played. A lot of these people can actually chart progress through achievements. You know, as people gain achievements on different like wherever they are, they can be sampling the rate at which achievements are coming in. They can actually build models for the rate at which people are actually playing and doing stuff on their game.
Yeah.
Pretty effectively. So if they find that, this isn't going quite the way we think most people would enjoy, there you go.
Well, as always, we didn't expect to get on the topic of difficulty ranges of what we played. Real quick, we'll run down the list here. Dennis, have you played anything since the last time we spoke to you?
I did get gifted Fall of Cybertron on Steam, so I started that up today and been enjoying that.
Was that the first? That was the first one.
That was the second one, I believe.
Oh, that was the second one.
The
Okay.
second Transformers.
What was the
game.
first one? The what of
War
Cybertron?
for
War for
Cybertron.
Cybertron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we really enjoyed playing co-op with. That was another
That
co-op
was
game.
really, really fun. Which that was not a thing.
They took the
They took-
co-op
they took
out
it out.
of Fall.
There is-
Fall was still good, but
Yeah, it's got kind of a horde mode in it, I think, for multiplayer.
look,
as well.
I'm not against horde modes. You know
Yeah.
this, but Lord, man, that was a great draw. The first game, it was really, really fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Even though there were moments in that game. That game actually had like really, really great times and moments. But whatever, Fall was great too.
Yeah, I'm going to play through that. Still going through Dark Souls 2. Still dying, staying at like 50% health. I'm at Hyde's Tower of Flame right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Oh,
area.
it's lots of fun in that area.
Tried assisting other people summon signs, and the Dragon Slayers just kills me. Had one time right when he died, and he got me in his like last attack. I was like, that close to being human again.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat playing Dark Souls 2. Got to the gutter. That's an area something similar to Blighttown in Dark Souls 1, but only niche in this one is that it's very dark. You can't really see anything. You got to have a torch.
This is where the torches actually come.
Yeah,
come
the torches
on.
actually come in handy. Took me 2 days to navigate my way out of that place. I just kept getting lost and turned around and everything, and of course, dying, falling off of bridges, getting blown off of bridges, being poisoned, dog attacks. What?
Stabbed, shot, hung, drowned.
Chopped into fish bait.
So you've had 10% of the total Dark Souls experience.
Yeah, so far. But yeah, that's what I've been going through so far. I tried a little bit of the Borderlands 2 DLC of Son of Cromorax. Tried that with a group of friends of mine. I'm in a similar situation as you. We got to 25% health on Cromorax, and we had one person left trying to stay alive in the arena, and he bought it just as we got regenerated, and so it restarted. So we had to like call it a night and say we got to rethink this to see how we can better attack it. But it was a good time all around.
I jumped into and finished the first episode of Burial at Sea.
First episode.
Yes.
First episode.
Or the first part one of Burial at Sea, yeah.
Sure.
We're
Whatever.
really
It
episodes,
doesn't.
but
It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Did you finish? You said you finished it.
Just part one. Just part one.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Part two.
I'm looking forward to part two. It was nice to
Do
kind of
not look forward to anything making any sense.
The thing was
That isn't a thing that happens even in the expansion for BioShock
Yeah.
Infinite.
played part one on Sunday, and then we had that weather come through on Monday and Tuesday, and I did not. My PC stayed unplugged for like
Right.
2 days for that, just in case. But yeah, I haven't gone back to it, but I will be doing part two. It's nice to kind of leave me hanging rather than blow through it in one go. It's nice to come back to and have something else. So that, and of course, I'll be doing Silver Ball Sundays tomorrow. I plan on doing the Masters of the Force table from Zen Studios for Pinball Effects 2. It is Star Wars Day tomorrow. Going to do a Star Wars table, and it's one of the ones that I really wanted to go back to after doing the previews that we did last week. So, Nathan, anything from you that you played?
Let's see. I'm obsessed with playing Hearthstone with some friends. But I picked up the Metal Gear Solid for PlayStation 4, the new one, and I got it for like $15 online. So
why am I not thinking of that name now?
yeah, I know,
Zeroes?
Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
Man, I couldn't think of it either. But yeah, so I picked that up for $15. I was like, okay, I'll spend that. And that's been pretty fun.
That's not bad for $15. Where'd you
Yeah.
find it at $15?
Some guy was selling it on Amazon for $15. I was
Oh.
like, okay,
Nice.
Not bad.
Thanks, that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
That guy's awesome.
And then I've also been playing Madden just for the heck of it because I got it for free when I got my PlayStation 4. So I've just been playing that.
All right.
You know,
Well, that's what we've been playing. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's been going on. We've got Call of Duty talk. We got Destiny talk. We got a lot of talk coming up, and we can have your phone calls. So don't forget, 334-272-9228 is the number. As we go into the break, here is music from Deus Ex: Human Revolution. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Democracy? Democracy. Democracy is not what these people need. Hell, it's not even what they want. America's been trying to install democracies in nations for a century, and it hasn't worked one time. These countries don't have the most basic building blocks to support a democracy. Little things like we ought to be tolerant of those who disagree with us. We ought to be tolerant of those who worship a different God than us. That a journalist ought to be able to disagree with the president. And you think that you can just march into these countries based on some fundamentalist religious principles, drop a few bombs, topple a dictator, and start a democracy? Give me a break. People don't want freedom. They want boundaries, rules, protection from invaders and from themselves. People need a leader who can give them both the support and the constraints to keep chaos at bay. You give them that, and they'll follow. And that's where I come in.
And welcome back to In-Game Chat. That was the trailer for Call of Duty, what is it?
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare. I wasn't sure if it was Advanced Warfighter, but that's something else.
And Advanced Wars is something else.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back to the show, and obviously this will kick off our Call of Duty discussion, basically about the reveal of that. I will say first, because you guys were discussing it while I was downstairs, not during the break, but before the show. So I kind of got a gist, a little bit of how you felt on at least the trailer of it. My first reaction was, I hate when they put actors as actors in games.
Not just voice work.
Right. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked somewhat for like L.A. Noire.
Beyond Two Souls.
Because they had that whole thing, facial recognition thing
Right.
going on, and they had to get the actual actors for those things. Yeah, I could see that.
But the thing about that was, you know, those were actors playing a different role. This feels like he's just playing Underwood.
Without the accent. Well,
Yeah, no.
I know. See, it's really hard to get past that idea. I don't think that's what's happening.
I don't either.
I think that it literally isn't what's happening, but there is no way not to connect his part, Kevin Spacey's part in this video game, with his part in House of Cards. There's just no way. It is discussions of American foreign policy related to a show about American political power, and he's at the top in both, and it's a thing. I don't know. And his delivery has all of the same force and cadence as without the accent that
Right.
Frank Underwood has in House of Cards. So that's neither here nor there. I really, really don't like the fact that I feel like here we have a Call of Duty trailer, which, by the way, this wasn't meant to be the proper reveal. The proper reveal was meant to happen
Tomorrow.
At this point, tomorrow, May 4th. At some point, probably during, I don't know, NBA playoffs or whatever with the basketball. But at some good point for them in the world to control it. And that didn't happen. It leaked out, so they decided to just rush to the internet
Yeah. just
with
throw
all
it out
the
there now.
information about the game. So, but when I see the entire thing essentially delivered by Kevin Spacey, the entire pitch is being made by him.
Yeah.
He is so recognizable, so well liked in that particular style of role, and so forceful that I feel like he is taking up the whole picture, the whole virtual picture and concept, and the game is barely discernible behind him because you can't get past Kevin Spacey's in my Call of Duty.
All I ever thought was, That picture from the thing that started hitting the net right after, it was May 21st, I think, when Xbox One did their reveal, and they did the TV,
Right.
COD TV. And all you ever saw was that programmer moving the dog's mouth up and down. And I thought, there's a
Right.
there's somewhere somebody's moving Kevin Spacey's mouth up and down, and that's what I see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, dogs for this.
Spacey's for that.
Yep.
Sadly, it's not Kevin Spacey the game, because otherwise that would be a bit more interesting.
Or House of Cards, the game.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Like, while we're talking about what games actually ought to be doing, let's try that.
Call Telltale.
Sure. You know, well, I mean, yes, roughly speaking, yes, that direction of type of game. But that's like a whole hour that I don't want to get started on. But here we have, everyone, the annual reveal of Call of Duty. Right?
Isn't it? Yeah. That's
My
exactly what it is.
cynicism becomes harder. Apparently the joy that is felt by the fans, such as they are, becomes even greater. I don't know. I get flintier, their fires burn hotter. It is insane to me how there can still be any real fans of this series. And even if there are, how they can be so genuinely excited by what was shown. I would like to reiterate, not that it's necessary, because we have all seen this before. I'm fairly certain that nothing shown in that trailer was actual gameplay. Rendered on the Xbox One, captured from the Xbox One, I believe is the language they use. I believe you. I believe that it is rendered in-engine assets. We're beyond that discussion. I don't necessarily care whether it was captured directly off of a console or off of a dev unit for a console or off of a PC running at some hokey spec level that you claim puts it at the same level as I do not care. The point is, that was cinematic. Everything in that trailer was something being done by the game.
Right.
It was not a thing being that really cool stuff that made you give you that awesome fizzy feeling down inside where you think you're being cool in a video game. Right, where the guy with his big mech hand punches through the armored window of the truck and pulls the guy out and throws him across you didn't do that. You will not do that. You might press the X button 3 or 4 seconds before that happens. You did not do that.
Yeah, and everybody, and I say everybody, whatever. This is how marketing works. You do your, if you can tease, you tease. Then you release your trailer. And this is video games, especially your high-profile video games like this, Halo, stuff like that. You tease if you got it. If you don't, you do your trailer. Once you do your trailer, yay, little bits of information. Then, otherwise they would have tagged this trailer with saying exclusive gameplay footage, because that's what happens at E3. That's what happens on whoever gave them the most money to do the first exclusive gameplay footage.
Well, and this is Activision, and they have a long-standing, continuous, apparently timeless love and relationship with Microsoft. We know exactly how it works. I'm pretty sure everybody's just over being upset about that. We just know that's how it's going to work. They're going to have probably I believe it's confirmed now, temporary timed 30-day exclusivity of DLC. Whatever, man. That's what makes your game so hated.
But
right?
I remember in March, Call of Duty said that they were going to switch to PlayStation as their lead platform.
Lead development platform is apparently a very different thing from lead marketing platform, which was a part of the discussions about this, because I believe several other people online in various forums brought up the same point, that for various reasons the PS4 was going to be the lead development console. But there is another type of lead console, and that is the console that pays us the most money to tie our name to theirs.
Right.
Just clarify, the only thing confirmed as being timed exclusive for Xbox One is the DLC,
Right.
not the actual game.
No. The game never can be.
No.
Unfortunately, but the
That'll never be
DLC
like that.
definitely, and that's been happening for 8 years.
And that's what's been going on every
all
look,
of that stuff is unchanged.
Sony
from the
has
past.
never had Call of Duty at their press conferences at E3. They never have. Microsoft has always done the first gameplay reveal, and then right after the gameplay reveal, it's always like, oh, and guess what? The first maps are exclusive to Xbox 360. You know,
Xbox 360 will be the first platform to
Get the-
split its user base.
yeah, to get the DLC maps.
Which is, yet again, a whole other argument that maps should be given away. Absolutely 100%. No, they should be forced on you. They should be required update for online players. All maps should always be given away. Sell hats or, things. I don't know, sunglasses, camo for your gun. I don't care. Never sell maps. It is a cardinal sin,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I agree.
A cardinal sin for online shooters.
we had the same problem when you and I were trying to. Well, I say you and I. It was 4 of us trying to play Rainbow Six Vegas when they did the map updates, and it's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's go in there because we were going to play a map that we all had,
It didn't matter.
but because
it was in the rotation.
some of us had the other things, we couldn't play together. So
Right.
it's
that's a great evil that should be absolutely scourged right out of the industry. I cannot stand it. And I understand it generates money, and I understand that we live in a time when you are comfortable generating money through your online services and your video games. Just do it some other way. People will gladly pay for orange tiger stripes on their M4 or whatever. I don't care. Just make sure everybody has the same maps.
or their outfits for their multiplayer guy.
Yeah,
you know?
man, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. What very much is here is the idea that yet again we have proof, absolute proof, that they are going to continue to deliver COD in exactly the same way they always have. It's near future advanced warfare, I suppose. There's something that looks like powered armor. There are things that look like augmented exoskeletal
Yeah.
stuff that is like DARPA level.
Spider-Man gloves.
Sure, that's all fine. But this is 100% a campaign trailer.
Drone throwing.
Drone tossing. Is it Scottish sport or something from the future? I don't know. Whatever this was, A, it was lies. B, it was more lies. And C, it was the campaign. And I can't even get my brain, either because I'm
Because
old
that's
or
what we
Call of
know
Duty is
about-
horrible.
That's what we know about COD is the campaign. That's what it's always been.
I already
about,
tell
right?
you now.
Right, yeah.
I'll put money on it right now. Microsoft's press conference, Kevin Spacey will be on stage.
That's
Yeah, it's a pretty safe bet, I think.
I don't know how safe a bet that is.
I think it is.
The guy gets on stage at the Oscars and the Emmys. I don't know that Kevin Spacey necessarily gets on stage. I don't know. I don't know who the man himself actually belongs to. What console does he play in House of Cards?
That's a good
He plays
point.
a Sony console.
That's a good point.
He plays a Sony console. He is in the game. He probably has some sort of deal with Activision. I don't know if that extends to Microsoft. You have managed to combine celebrity news and Call of Duty, which may be two of the most horrifying things in the entire world. And you got me talking about them.
Well, that's exactly why they did what they did. They're
know.
like, we're not going to do our. This is the first thing people have seen of COD. Big guns now, and that's like, let's do this. Let's put him in there. Not only will that get the attention of gamers to be like, actor in my game, great thing for most, and I think it's
Which
stupid.
I also can't really get behind.
If there's anything to make you completely shift out of what you're doing is when you see somebody familiar that you've seen in other. It's different when you're watching movies. It's one thing when you're playing a game.
Well, it'd be another thing if we thought it was actually going to be a good game.
But there are lots of people who they don't think it will. They are sure it will. And
Based
I feel
on a
like
trailer with no
this is all
gameplay.
I'm saying. Really, we all know what Call of Duty has been about for ages and ages and ages. We were talking about this with Nathan before the show. We were like trying to take each other's temperature on like, how do you feel about this Call of Duty stuff? And he and I, we can both go back all the way to the real Call of Duty. Most modern fans would consider the roots of Call of Duty to be modern warfare. But I'm talking about 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Came out in 2003. August,
2003, 11 years ago.
October 29th.
We're still back when we were doing World War II shooters, but everything that they did was like really, really, really high quality single player campaigns grounded in historical.
Man, that
Fights.
the fight on the bridge, and I can't remember the name, but
Pegasus Bridge?
Pegasus Bridge. That was it.
I
Pegasus
never
Bridge.
played it, but I heard millions of stories.
Right, because we were all able
about
to
it.
play something
Yeah.
that was legitimately historic. And a lot of war games at the time were actually trying to do that. Now they have gone very far indeed.
Pegasus Bridge, and then that little thing at the that little twist at the end. You've been playing I think you've been playing pretty much American all the way through.
You played American, Russian, and English in the first.
Yeah. But
Call
it
of
was
Duty.
that last little mission. I think you were Russian and you were
storming the Reichstag.
yes.
It was fun. It was a great
God.
game. It was the first thing that Infinity Ward did.
Yeah.
It was their first game after leaving Electronic Arts, where they originally made the Medal of Honor games. They left on bad terms with EA, went to Activision and formed Infinity Ward, left on bad terms with Activision, and went back to EA. But anyhow, look, I don't even think there is an opportunity to fight for customers anymore in the world of Call of Duty. You are most likely either like the people in this room who might give it a rental just to, derp their way through the campaign or something. I don't know. Just spend 6 hours on a day when you're sitting at home and you're not feeling good. Go through the campaign. Okay, fine, wash my hands of it. And then there are people who are quite serious about the multiplayer. And you know what? More power to you. I think it is absolutely a blemish on what multiplayer online shooters should be. And if you've been playing long enough, you'll know the kind of thing I'm referring to. Balanced, simple, straightforward things where map design and weapon balance is far more important than unlocks and XP hooks. But whatever. It's got legions of fans. That's okay. I'm not going to convince them here, ever. But I find it very strange that people are willing to run their fan flag up the pole and absolutely shout it anywhere they possibly can based on a sales pitch, based on a movie trailer for a campaign that has absolutely never been of any value whatsoever to Call of Duty overall. It is, for the past 10 years, just about, been about the online multiplayer. So I look at the online, or I look at the videos for the campaign and I think, okay, this is just crap. I mean, I don't see a game here. I see a movie that I would watch, I suppose, and a campaign I'll probably play through, again, on a rental. But I don't understand the fandom, which I believe must necessarily come from that multiplayer place.
Yeah.
So happy about this when there's nothing but guesswork. Literally nothing. All you're doing is imagining in your own head what this multiplayer is going to be like with no information whatsoever. It astounds me. Enjoy it if you like. Pay attention to it if you like. Have good feelings. This is, I suppose, the one thing of interest is that this is Sledgehammer's first Call of Duty. They now have 3 studios running Call of Duty in rotation. Sledgehammer is the newly formed or aggregated, I guess, studio that's doing this apparently advanced warfare loop. Infinity Ward is still doing, I guess, the Ghosts stuff. I'm not really sure. Did they do? Yeah, they did. And then Treyarch is the third. So and that's all that's actually more than I feel like I should know about Call of Duty. But
here's my thought on that is like, God, what if we talk about people leaving. We talk about Amy Hennig getting out of it and thinking maybe she's tired of doing that Uncharted thing over and over again. If Infinity Ward or Treyarch, Sledgehammer, this is their first outing, but if Infinity Ward and Treyarch could actually have the time to do something else, it'd be great. Treyarch's Spider-Man game, Web of Shadows, was wonderful.
Yes.
Was wonderful. Probably the last good Spider-Man game we've had since all the other releases. Was really, really good, and that was Treyarch taking their time to build something else while they were done with while they hadn't gotten yet into the Call of Duty machine.
But
to have to do that, but now they're locked into that. Infinity Ward is locked into that, and
that's saying which one made more money, Web of Shadows or COD?
I understand.
That's what it boils down to, and it's really sad. That's what it boils down to. But it's, which one gives me more money? Hats? Oh, Call of Duty, of course.
Yeah, I understand. I understand the way it works. This is how you get developer fatigue. This is how you get revolving doors in your development studio, is because this is the one thing we do, and this is the only thing we will ever do until it stops making us money. And so that's that's how it works out. It really, really sucks. Anyway, we've got to take a break here at the top of the hour. When we come back, we'll have more of in-game chat. Don't forget, you can call us 334-272-9228. Let your voice be heard if you'd like to tell us why we're wrong, tell us why we're right, tell us about anything else that you'd like to tell us about. 334-272-9228. We're going into chat going into break here, and if you don't know this, I'll tell you when we come back, but it's pretty recognizable what this is. We'll be right back in just a moment. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Pretty much everybody in the chat room figured out what that was earlier. We were playing, that was from DuckTales Remastered. That was the Moon theme. This is GoldenEye.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a GoldenEye.
Where in GoldenEye?
I don't know, it just says GoldenEye.
I don't remember this.
Didn't they do like a re-release version of GoldenEye on PS2 or something like that?
Of the no, none of the
Not of like
remade some other thing. I think
okay.
there's only one GoldenEye.
Anyway, welcome back to the show. Let's just listen more to the music.
Did you ever play that? You
yes.
didn't have an N64.
I didn't, but a friend of mine had an apartment actually across the street from here, and a bunch of people would hang out over there. He had an N64 and they had a PlayStation, so we would have Puzzle Fighter things going on, and then they would have GoldenEye things going on.
That's luscious, you know?
It was good.
Puzzle Fighter, GoldenEye.
Yeah,
So good.
it was good.
Puzzle Fighter was nice, especially when you beat someone with Dan.
That's the one I was.
Right.
That was the one I was talking to the guys at Retro Game Playing. I was like,
God,
"Hey, we should do
Matt
Puzzle
loved
Fighter."
Matt. Poor
Oh.
Matt. Poor Matt.
All the thing I remember about GoldenEye was that people got
alive?
mad when people used Odd Job for some reason.
Because he was small.
Because
What was the reason?
He had a smaller hitbox.
he was like half the size of everybody else. So he could come and get like under your defilade or whatever. He could like get underneath your ability to actually suppress your gun, and like he would get down there around your business and like get down there and like work you up a little bit. It was awful.
No, so you
Hey.
couldn't like angle the gun down or something, or
Well, it
could crouch fire
all right.
or something. or-
Dude, no, you could, but this is GoldenEye we're talking about. This is
Okay.
actually
This was N64.
this was N64
Yeah, okay.
back before the modern console concept of first-person shooter controls and responsiveness was even conceived of.
This was back when like mouse look was a big deal back in the day.
Right. And so it had actually
that was our first website, wasn't it?
yeah. it had a really, really foreign I think it would actually be very difficult to go back and play it using those legacy controls. It was very, at the time it was fine because we had no other concept. There were no twin stick shooters on the consoles, but that's neither here nor there. It was like your aim did not move your POV. You know what I mean? You had the ability to kind of like look up and look down and look left and right and then also walk, but your aim was actually a crosshair that moved inside of your view box. As well, a very, very old school and very particular type of control scheme. And anybody who played Odd Job would just scooch up under your thing and just stab you up and shoot you and be a general menace to the control scheme and your ability to actually, it was horrible. Anybody who played that with a regular group of people, all right, anybody who has ever played with a regular group of people has one of those guys in their group, right? And I'm telling you, that guy will always choose Odd Job and then just laugh at you. Yeah, great. Oh, good times, though. Just stellar.
Well, it was
really,
just
really
fun
good
'cause
times.
You take a brick, you put it down, have 4 controllers, multiplayer.
Yeah,
And this is the easiest multiplayer you could set up back then.
right.
You know, instead of having 4 gigantic boxes of massive cables, every peripheral known to God and man,
Yeah.
having to assemble all that, and maybe it will work together, but maybe more than likely not.
Right.
Or one person will be over there, I can't work with this
We
setting.
used to have like weekend long LAN parties around that same time. And one whole day or at least half a day of the LAN party was dedicated to actually making it work. Because you had a mix of people on different operating systems. There was like that guy who ran Windows 2000. There was that guy, Matt, who would not upgrade off of Windows 95. There were, a bunch of people running 98 and then eventually 98 second edition. And then I think like Jeremy got stuck for a while running Millennium or something. It was just wretched. It was just wretched trying to get all that stuff to work together. Nothing worked back then. Everything just works now. It's ridiculous how much everything just works. But, yeah. And
Good.
Puzzle Fighter.
Oh yeah,
That was good stuff.
Loved Puzzle Fighter.
I know Puzzle
Yummy.
Fighter. Yep.
Yeah. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Don't forget our phone number is 334-272-9228 if you would like to get in touch with us and share your opinion on any of this stuff that we've been talking about or anything else that is not what we've been talking about. Look at that. We just came back and had a 10-minute discussion
about James Bond.
about GoldenEye off of the music that we played. Had no intention we were going to go into Destiny, which is what we're going to go into now. But so let's talk. What did you want to talk about? I came in. I was downstairs when you guys were talking about
Well,
About what?
Destiny.
Destiny.
Am I the only person who paid attention to what happened this week?
Yeah, because there was supposed to be big release Monday. It's like Destiny.
Did you
revealed.
pay attention at all? Did you go to the internet on Monday?
I watched. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I saw the gameplay.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was something else.
All right. Well, I don't know context. Look, Destiny has been a thing that we've been aware of now for what, a year and a half, roughly. From the vague idea of that Bungie's got a thing. There you go, called Destiny. Forget about it. We'll tell you later. All the way through to what they've shown this past week. They have been very, very, very precious with their information. And in the early phases, I get it. You're just hyping that you're doing something. Like, you're pretending that a lot of the hype and interest for your game isn't coming from the name of your company. But you know it is. We all know it is. You know it is. We know that you know. Everybody knows that your name is selling this game. So you don't have to release a terrible lot of information to begin with.
Right.
But that's fine. Last year's E3, they actually let loose with a significant amount of information, which was a good step up from pure speculation. And then it just kind of went quiet again, Yes, it's coming out on the new consoles. What's a PC again? I don't know. We'll ask you again later.
Yeah.
There is going to be like a beta sometime maybe before it comes out. And that's about it. That's about all we heard for 8 or 9 months. I mean, there was some other information, but if you actually go out there and look at any of the fan sites and look at the videos they've compiled that are putting together some kind of comprehensive knowledge of everything we should know about whatever this game is, it's mostly just a comprehensive telling of the marketing materials that they released the better part of a year ago.
Right.
So this past week was supposed to be a significant info dump about where the game is and what it's looking to do, and I guess theoretically some information about like what it's really got going on, because so much of it is supposition based on thin marketing materials, right? I understand that E3 is weeks away at this point. I understand that you have to go to E3 loaded for bear. I understand it, but this game already has a release date. This game is already in final approach to retail. It just is. They've already dialed all of that stuff in. We don't know the date of beta. We don't know what they're going to show at E3, but we do know that it has a release date in September. So the clock is ticking. Maybe you could get with the telling me what it's about. I can already buy it.
Mm-hmm.
How ridiculous is this world? I can buy it. I have no concept other than what has been invented for me or what I have painted in my mind. I have no real idea what this game is.
All you have are your expectations.
All I have is Bungie.
I was going to say, all you got is a developer name, yeah.
That's about it, right? And I know that I'm being a little too harsh, and I would like to state that I am probably in for it. Like, it's one of the few things that I think I'm actually going to really be in for in the next 6 months, pending some great information out of E3. But whatever. The point is, that trailer, that piece of gameplay, that, 7 or 8 minute clip, maybe it was 10 minutes, I don't know, clip of what they had to show was the info dump for this week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, there was a preview event that an awful lot of journalists attended alongside with that. So you've got that piece of video and the experience of these journalists playing with a member of Bungie's team. And no video captured from their playthroughs, just
Right.
impressions of that, canned video over here. We're used to this. I'm not going to go into being upset about that exact thing, but I know Destiny is meant to be not an MMO, a not first-person shooter, a not loot-based game, even though it is all of those things. They have talked a huge game. They generated so much hype language and invented new ways of selling me concepts over the last year. And they really did. This isn't me just having my normal reaction to hype-based marketing. They really did. And they even admitted as much. They're like, look, we've been yakking about it endlessly. So time to put up or shut up, right, guys? And what they put up is essentially a video of the one narrow, least interesting, most uninvolved, unimaginative, and derivative game modes, the one that we already knew about from a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's very confusing to me. Like I said, they're being incredibly precious with their information. It's not an open world, broad landscape MMO, right? But it does take all of the vast social cues from MMOs, those very good things that we all love. We're taking that. All of the really, really good fun and the tight controls of a first-person shooter, since, we only basically make Halo. We're taking that, but it's not a traditional first-person shooter. Yeah, okay, whatever that means, but sure.
Yeah.
It's loot-based, and according to some kind of sales pitch, becomes very Diablo-like at maximum level when you start running the more complex modes, and it becomes about a loot treadmill and about always searching for upgrades and stuff like that, even though it isn't a Borderlands or RPG loot-driven game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. You don't want to be tied down to existing concepts. I get that. It's supposed to have these large social areas. It's supposed to have wide open areas with a lot of optional content. It's supposed to have a lot of loot-based things. It's supposed to have, I don't want to say large-scale raids, but it's supposed to have complex, high difficulty, high complexity raids. It's supposed to have competitive PvP. So show me. Show me any one of those things and I will be happy. The one thing we had seen before this last week, in any significant amount, right, was a lot of that stuff from old Russia, right? It's supposed to take place all over the solar system, on different planets, and even in different regions on Earth. But still, the only environment we've seen is this one environment, right? And again, I'm not saying that stuff isn't there. It would be unprecedented if they've been trumpeting this stuff and it isn't there.
Whew.
I don't believe that.
Right.
If you're going to go ahead and sell it to me, if you're going to sell it to me on the promise that I get to be involved in testing these features I'm interested in, and if you're going to tell me that that's really what the game is about, no, don't get whipped up into a lather about the fact that you just saw this one stupid little slice of what the game is. Smallest group activity, least options, closed off environments, narrow corridors. Doesn't sound like the promise. So don't get upset about that. It's really all of these other things. Well,
Where are they?
show me.
Yeah.
Any one of them. Pick one of them. Pick just one. And I'll, okay. But it's just such an odd collection of, I don't want to say promises, but design goals, right? And they sound fantastic. And even on paper, if you said all of these other things, and then one of the modes is a 3-man kind of straight shot, simple 20-minute PvE dungeon crawl thing, that would literally be the one I'm least interested in, because I have played it in so many other variations for so very long. I have never played something that turns out to be such an interesting hybrid of all the game modes that they are picking and selecting from other genres to put into something, and then, wrap it all up in the Bungie frosting, And I like that idea. But show me already, please. I'm just, the part of me that is always suspicious when people are trying to sell me something has become even more suspicious that the grandeur of these things they're not interested in delivering it. And they somehow think that, like, here's a robot, it's hacking this thing. Why don't you stand here and defend against waves of enemies until it's finished? I was sick of that in the 90s. Yeah, maybe not quite the 90s. I was sick of it a long time ago, though. I'll promise you that much. Because it's been sort of a stock, standard, boring, easy way to create an encounter without trying terribly hard. And I find it very strange that that's the thing that they chose to show me. I'm not going to say that it looks like Halo meets Borderlands. It does. But I'm not going to say that because, that's a little too cliched to do that. I think it's unfair.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. They need to.
I will say one thing. You brought this up was the switch to third-person mode whenever you activate a special ability was really
it's going to be rage-inducing. If you wanted me to be in third person to look at all of the awesome gear that I have built for my character, let me go into third person whenever I want. Make it a third-person shooter. I actually think a lot of people would be happy with that because it is a loot-based, gear-based, character-based game. People like looking at their dudes, right?
Yeah. And if they've already,
let me look at his dudes.
Yeah. That was one of the things from, was it Rainbow Six, I think? Was it Rainbow Six Vegas or whatever that had the third person and first person?
Yeah, but that was very carefully designed around a single specific mechanic.
Yeah,
it was
the cover mechanic.
It was a way of treating the cover mechanic in kind of an.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked it very much.
Yeah.
But it was a solution to a very specific thing. This really does. Your ability to see what you're doing isn't enhanced. It's ruined in a lot of respects because of the position of the camera. And again, I know. Blah blah pre-blah alpha blah state. Like I get it, man. I'm not allowed to critique what they show me. They're allowed to show me and make promises. I'm not allowed to critique because, the fandom counter attacks by saying, well, it's in pre-alpha, so is how I feel. I don't know. I'm not feeling it, and I really want to feel it. I'm trying so hard. I don't think they've done a terribly good job with the Halo games over the course of time. I think all of us love the idea at the wider universe they've hinted at.
Yeah.
And have never even bothered to reach for. So, I carry some baggage into my, the way I'm approaching this game. But I do believe in it. I do believe in the idea, and I think it is very good for them to approach this kind of idea. I think it is where certain types of games need to be going. And I've often yearned for my console friends to have this kind of experience because it's been available in many respects on the PC for a long time and in better ways. I want to experience it on the console. I just would like to have a better idea of what it is they're saying I'm going to experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not, frankly, willing to cheese the pre-order the way other people are just to get their beta access. I don't know. It's dishonorable in a certain respect. I'll pay you the money if I think what you're selling is worthwhile. I'm not going to pre-order on Amazon and then can the pre-order.
That's right,
just to get
yeah.
the code.
You'll get the code, and then you can can the pre-order.
I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just not going to do it. I actually want to believe in what you're doing and back it. And I'll put my money where your mouth is. If we can sort of come to an agreement that it's going to be there. Either you're jerking me around, it's not there, it's not ready, or it's not good enough. If it's not ready, that's fine. If you're jerking me around strangely, that's fine. Because there's a history of that. Well, I mean,
Really?
it's fine.
I know.
It's fine, right? Because they could be saving it for E3. That's really all the video was. It was supposed to be an info dump. It was actually an advertisement and a tease for more information at E3. So, I don't know. It's a big deal to hear any more about it. But if you find it being a really divisive subject, which it was over the course of the week, it's mostly been buried by the Call of Duty release or announcement. But
where do you think they'll show up at E3? Sony or Microsoft? They showed up at Sony last...
Call of Duty?
No.
Destiny.
Oh, Destiny.
Destiny.
They'll show up at Sony.
Sony, okay.
Yeah. With Kevin Spacey. I don't know. I
Well,
believe,
no.
I
Who do
believe
they have?
will-
Who does Destiny have? Dinklage?
Peter Dinklage, I think.
Peter Dinklage, yeah.
Yeah.
And other people, actually. It's got actually a number of really good voice actors. Who can only be famous Hollywood actors, apparently. Can't find any voice actors who aren't already massively famous, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
you know how we feel about that.
Yeah.
Very, quite strongly, as a matter of fact. But,
Yeah.
but anyway, it's out there. If you haven't seen the videos, it's definitely worth a look. Go read all of the hyperbolic, joyous exultation of promises to be, right? Because those always work out exactly the way they said, right? Ever any failure? And there's some legitimate questions. There's some legitimate questions, right? No. Like there was an issue with them talking about groups. They came out and said what the group sizes were supposed to be, right? And they're like 3 people. 3 people. Group sizes are 3 people.
But there's only 3 classes.
But there's 3 classes. And their reasoning was, and this again was something that they said in response to not criticism but questions from journalists, like, okay, 3 classes. Lots of people have become accustomed to doing co-op with 4 people. 4 people is a fairly common group size. 5 is a little more fun for certain people, but now you're starting to stretch it into, other things. But 3, and they're like, wow, we got 3 classes. This is the best balance of our 3 classes. Is 3 people, 3 classes. And it's like, that's great. But if the 3-player limit is based on the balance of your 3 different classes, are you telling me that my group has to have one of each class? Otherwise, your statement that it's based around the concept of balancing 3 classes holds no water whatsoever. If I can just take 3 Titans or 3 Warlocks in my group, right?
Yeah.
How does that doesn't really seem to work with... Maybe they're talking more about talent trees, or maybe they really, really are saying, yeah, you got to have one of each. In which case, no.
What was the
That's not happening.
the last game that I remember that did 3-player co-op was, oddly enough, War for Cybertron.
Yes.
You could only do 3-player co-op in that. And I can't remember on the classes, though, if there was... I can't remember if...
Well, you were playing specific characters.
Yeah, you were playing
in that
specific
game.
characters, but I couldn't remember if there was a certain, Prime gives a attack bonus to the rest of the team if somebody picks him.
But
that
again,
sort of thing.
you were allowed to do the co-op in a game that was also designed for any single player to beat, and that was co-op in a campaign. This is a very different thing. This is building all of its mission structure
on multiplayer. Yeah.
This is not a single player game where you can invite your buddies along. This is in fairness to them, this is, PvE and PvP and socialization and gear treadmills and campaign type story woven into the experience of the multiplayer thing. Like, it's all of that, and that you need a group for that, and you should. That's what it is. It is about multiplayer. But I don't know. Right now, its stock is dropping with me, and that's just with me. I'm a grognard, as everybody knows, but I really want to be excited about it. I am excited about it. I'm just grouchy. Come on, man. Like, show me the cool space city. Show me some missions on a different planet. So I don't know. Something. It's in a weird spot, and I will probably feel much better come E3 when they really show stuff off, and I'll probably be over the moon when the beta finally comes out.
If the beta was to start Monday, what would you do?
If the beta started Monday,
yeah. What would you do?
Ooh. No, I wouldn't go near it.
Okay.
I wouldn't go near it. They haven't shown enough.
Okay. No, I was just curious. I was just curious about that. All right. Well, anyway, when we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back from our final segment. Again, if you've got questions, comments, anything at all, we'd love to hear from you. 334-272-9228. That is 334-272-9228. We will be back with more in-game chat right after this. Here is Hotline Miami. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music there from Max Payne. Some really good, I like the music that we played in this episode. It's all on rotator. I don't have any control over it other than what's in this massive pile of music. And it just plays randomly. So, good tracks. Good tracks we've had. Welcome back to the show. I want to give out the phone number, but I think we're going to be talking to this guy for a while. Maybe at least he can stay with us through the end of the show here. We've only got about 25 minutes left, but on the phone with us right now, calling us from... where are you calling us from, Matt?
Afghanistan.
Matt is... Yeah, I guess you can't really say. Where in Afghanistan? No. Matt's
What
calling...
are your grid coordinates?
Yeah.
In an undisclosed location, deep under the
Now,
sand.
I'm in Bagram Air Base. It's north of Kabul.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What time is it?
5 in the morning?
Okay.
Wow.
Are you going to work?
Yeah. In a few hours.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're in Afghanistan, and that's just horrible, man.
Played anything recently?
The mountains around here are just beautiful.
Yeah, I don't care.
mean,
I'm sorry.
Go
Matt,
blow 'em
Go
up.
ahead.
No, I appreciate you calling in, man. Yeah, I guess you made it over there okay, and things are going okay. It's only been, what, a week? 2 weeks?
yeah. A week.
Yeah.
Oh, for a week or so. But, yeah, it's interesting.
So, in all seriousness, have you played anything? Do you have time?
I've been trying to download the DLC for Batman for Arkham, but I can only grab it like a little bit at a time just because the bandwidth here. So I'm a little over halfway done. So once I'm going to be playing that.
You're not trying to download it right now, are you?
No.
While you're making the
No.
phone call? Okay. Because you're on. It sounds like you're on Skype.
I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably just Skype being Skype.
Yeah, but it's also Matt being Matt, so I wasn't sure. Wanted to make sure he wasn't also downloading while he was trying to make an internet phone call.
No, I'm not downloading anything.
So, well, I'm glad you're doing well, and yes, I hope you do get to download the rest of that. We talked about it. I guess we talked a little bit about it last week. So, yeah, I was able to play it, and I liked it. And I hope you enjoy it as well. So yeah, have you been keeping up with anything that's been going on as far as in gaming related?
Not too terribly much. Not as much as I really want to. I did hear the Star Wars news, about the cast.
I was going to ask you how you felt about that. Or if you had any kind of speculation, because I was hoping, that, like, really the whole concept that the original three were that the original cast people were going to be in it was just a joke. Because I don't want that to be true, but I can stop wanting that now, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're not going to be caravanning around the well, I say obviously. Hopefully they're not going to be caravanning around the galaxy, still trying to do whatever.
Right.
I'm kind
Millennium
of
Falcon retirement home.
Yeah. Maybe like just set in the background, kind of like how Mon Mothma was in, Jedi, just a little bit, just as,
I imagine they'll be a little more prominent than that. Some of the speculation, if you look at the ages of some of the other people they've cast, really does lend credence to the idea that they have cast at least a couple of the children.
Yes.
What's her name that nobody has ever heard of before is theoretically Jaina, or a Jaina Solo shaped creature in the universe, now that the entire expanded universe is unofficially not canonical at all, until we say which parts we like that are, which is more or less what I think they're going to be doing.
Lucas with Boba Fett's origin, so
yeah, I mean, I know, man, I don't mind any of that stuff. I just, got just a knot in my stomach over the whole thing, because of course I do. And that's all there is to it. And I know that yours is much worse. So.
Yeah, you've got your stories you like from there that is just like, this is good. This is what I think of when I think of Star Wars.
I will say that I had no problem whatsoever with him officially announcing the non-canonical content. I never took any of it as canonical anyway. It was merely official, or okay, that's fine. Like, it was...
That works for me, yeah.
None of the I don't want to say none. Very little of the expanded universe failed to step on the toes of any other parts of it. And some parts of it outright contradicted other bits because there really wasn't any sort of history or Bible keeping, or to whatever degree there was, they did not adhere to it. So I don't care. Guess what?
Yeah.
Kyle Katarn is still super cool. I don't care if you don't recognize him. He already did not make sense. He's super cool, and I liked it, and that's all that matters in the world. Is it's still there, it's still fine, it's still wonderful. And in order to not just have the most ghastly collision of crappy storylines in making these new movies, they absolutely needed to clean the slate. I really would not have minded if they had cleaned it further, but oh well. So, I don't know. Yeah, I was sad that I didn't get a chance to actually have a sit down and talk to you about that stuff, because you and I, at the very least, could go back and forth for a while.
I am trying to stay away from, like, plot spoilers and just plot lines.
I don't know that that's going to be hard. I would imagine that they'll stay pretty much on top of it.
I mean, it's not just, Lucas anymore. It's Disney sitting on it as well.
It is. I mean, I don't think it's a far stretch to imagine that they'll behave towards it the way they've behaved towards the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with respect.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, I'm really, really hoping that that's the case. But, again, we will see. We will see.
Yeah. Before I left out, I forget if I told you guys, but I ordered my tickets for Celebration 7.
When is that?
Hannah. April, I think, 16th.
Okay. And the film is what?
December.
The film is a December release.
Yeah.
That's a little. Could you not have figured out a May release, like just for old time's sake? Could you have not?
If you count the Clone Wars movie, which was released theatrically as an official, then it's the second non-May.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that makes you feel either better or worse, whichever mood you particularly want to be in. I just think it would have been a very fun and traditional thing to treat it as a summer opener.
And I see no reason for them to delay or to we're
also I want it now.
Right.
So satisfy both of my needs, please. But yeah, it's funny, like looking back just a couple of years, the concept of the Star Wars celebrations and the concept of the entire Star Wars universe look entirely played out. We'd all but given up on the idea of the new films actually happening. Mm-hmm. And just following that announcement and looking that it's essentially, it's really imminent. I know 18 months is a long time. The younger you are.
But still, in a world of where you never thought you would get this,
it's
pretty close.
Yeah. Well, think of all of the new crap I can buy in the store. There's going to be so much new crap. I can buy action. I can buy fat versions of the action figures that I already own. Yeah. I will not line up at Toys R Us with you to go get toys this time, Matt. I will not.
That was kind of fun.
It was kind of fun.
You actually did that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look, man, there was a window of time before we actually went to the movie theater to watch Episode 1.
Everything was exciting.
When it was cool. And
it was also right after the special editions came out.
Right. Which were like...
Which everybody was like...
This
but
is
even
a
still,
big deal.
I remember everybody was like, Star Wars.
Right. It was back again. And I still insist, if you have enough meditative control over like your psychology, right? Erase your emotional reaction to the actual films. Get rid of that. And I know most people can't, because George Lucas literally killed your childhood. But if you can just erase all of that, go online, look at the original Episode 1 trailers. Look at that editing. Like, they are still magnificent trailers. I still want to see that movie.
I still have that trailer in film form.
Wow.
Uncut, by the way. It is
Nice.
still on the roll.
Yeah.
It still has the sticker unbroken on that film trailer.
Nice.
Film, by the way.
Right.
Film.
Which was a thing.
Yeah, I've still got that rolled up. It's at the house. So.
But yeah, there was a point in time when it was of genuine interest. It looked like it was going to be really, really good. Looked like it was going to be everything we wanted it to be, and we were doing George's work for him. Also, that guy who edited that trailer, whatever that was, it was brilliant. But there was a time, and so like all the new toys are coming out, and it had been ages. We were 6 or 7 the last time you could buy a toy for a new Star Wars film. And for people in our age bracket, that meant an awful lot.
Yeah, because we had the disposable income and jobs.
Right.
And, you know.
And I was big enough to push a child out of the way when the doors opened.
I remember going up to IHOP and you would sit there with the like Star Wars encyclopedia just going over random things.
Yeah, because we were
Look at this Bantha skull,
we
man."
were unbelievable dorks.
Yeah.
Are
Like, oh my gosh,
unbelievable dorks.
did you? Oh, and that was also right before the movie came out, E3, and we all flew out to L.A.
To L.A., that's right.
Yeah, the LA E3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, regardless of how much fun it was,
yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I won't have that memory again. I don't care how good the trailer looks. I don't care how cool the fat Leia action figures. I don't care. I'm not getting one.
Yeah.
I say that.
Hey, man.
But I'll go with you while you do. How about that? I'll split the difference. I won't get them, but I'll go with you. We'll go to IHOP afterwards and we'll open our toys. Your toys.
I will say, you know that's a lie. You were totally buying some along with it. I can see it in your eyes
Maybe.
right now.
Maybe. I'll buy a fat C-3PO.
Well, all right, man. Thanks for calling in, dude.
Yeah.
We were about to get into some Eve discussion, weren't we?
Well, that's worth. There are two things that I think absolutely need a little bit of time spent on them.
Yeah.
One is, you're welcome to stay on the.
Yeah,
line
hang around if you
want,
if you want to.
But,
But if you
if you have to go like make a bomb or whatever it is you do for a living, and then by all means, protect my freedom.
I sit behind the desk.
Do what?
I sit behind the desk.
You sit behind a desk. Oh, thank God.
keep doing that for like the rest of the year.
But yeah, there was some. So Eve, right? That's a game. That's a big old thing that they do, right? When guys at CCP, they recently in the news because they had to shutter development of World of Darkness, the MMO, for the White Wolf World of Darkness RPG. They were doing like $60 billion or something went into that game, and they were
years.
Just ages and ages and ages of development and promises, and very little ever having been shown, and they were eventually like, nope. Gone. Never mind. We were wrong.
Can't do it.
Sorry. It's done. Closing the studio, which stinks. That was the Georgia studio, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was. Yeah.
So that's an
I think CCP has a share in White Wolf now. Do they not?
No, they. Well, that at least that part of it they own.
Okay.
That's theirs, because that's kind of the thing they do. They want to play with stuff they own completely.
Yeah.
So that goes away, which is, I don't know if it's like a third strike or something like that, but it's another piece of bad news in ages of kind of rocky news for them. Most recently was the kind of distasteful launch of Dust 514, which was the promised first-person shooter that kind of shared a lot of the concepts, but was the infantry level version of the complex corporate structure and gameplay of the space-based Eve thing. So you've got the PC, master race guys up there doing their thing, and then they are essentially funding the
PlayStation 3 grunts on the ground.
Right, and it was terrible. It was the shooting mechanics were horrible. It was far too complex of a game to simply be on a console, and it is a complex game. It has a lot of the same market and configuration sensibilities that the Eve MMO has, and it just wasn't right. And it was like, look, man, everybody who knows what you are, everyone who cares what you are and what the Eve universe is on the PC. What are you doing? Release this game on the PC, and they didn't. And it was a bad move, and it was a kind of an incomplete design, and it was the wrong thing in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's done for. A lot of what they got caught out in public for saying behind closed doors about
That's right. I remember that.
about incentivizing free-to-play mechanics in a subscription-based MMO at a time when they had essentially stopped active development on their, on their cash cow, on their major MMO, the thing that made them who they are. They got a lot of heat for that. Not just because, hey, don't charge me 70 Earth dollars for a space monocle, which was a thing. That's bad. But also, if you're going to do that, could you, I don't know, maybe work on your game? Like, keep active development going at a higher pace? They have reacted to all of these things probably in the right way. Closing down development on World of Darkness was the right thing to do. I cannot believe that it wasn't. Maybe shelve the idea for later, maybe save whatever assets you have, maybe you can sell them off, maybe you can come back to it later, doesn't matter. Just trying to churn it out, push it out, and ruin an otherwise well-loved franchise or well-loved set of rules, I guess.
Yeah, that would alienate a lot of fans.
Right, it really would. Now, you just kind of disappoint people, but you don't leave a bad taste in their mouth,
Yeah.
So
you leave them wistful instead of disappointed.
Right, which is strangely a much better emotion. But anyway, they kind of just, they dealt with dust. That's over there, that's fine. They didn't pull the plug on it altogether. And then they did change some of their behavior in terms of reinvesting development back into the major EVE MMO. But now, it looks like the rumors of pivoting away from dust are real. They're taking a lot of the concepts and a lot of the team that actually developed it, much of what they've learned, and said, okay, like Project whatever it is, I don't even know, Project Legion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's dust for the PC, basically. They're not saying that it's an absolute done thing. They're kind of presenting it like they did Eve Valkyrie, which is the Oculus Rift based.
That's right. Yeah.
Star fighter space combat game, which is looking just lovely, by the way. It's about the only thing that still has me really, really revved up for an Oculus. But given the feedback that they're likely to get, given how optimistic people are about what would have been success for Dust on the PC, I think that this one probably has a good future behind it. They've already got the people who made Dust. May as well just task them with making it for the PC. So that's big news for a lot of people who were left feeling a little bit burned previously. So I don't know. I'm actually really, really excited about that because I have a PC and I don't want to play anything on my PS3 anymore because that game was ugly and slow and it made me angry. And I think even if you copied that game over to the PC, it would be a lot more fun. But I don't know. I'm excited about that. I think it's really cool. Eve will always own part of my heart. Always.
Yeah. No, I was excited for Dust whenever the concept was revealed to me. I was very excited about it because I really couldn't get in on that world that you and Kevin and a couple other people were getting in on with Eve.
Right.
But I thought, hey, I can do my part on the ground.
I can shoot a man.
Yeah.
You should do something. It was supposed to have effects in Eve itself.
Yeah, there was
supposed
the
to be
feedback effects were really hard. It was really difficult to remove all of the insulation between the two worlds, largely because the human beings who control the universe of Eve are dastardly, mustache twisting villains, man. They are. It is a collection of the most bloody-minded, villainous dudes who have ever played video games before. And I'm not talking like a little, some goofball who's going to stab you up outside of a net cafe because I don't know, whatever, you beat him in Call of Duty or something. It's not like that. These guys will these are the kinds of people who will get a job at a power company just so they can turn power off to your house at a critical time.
That's a good point.
Right, these guys are all your average, not really. They're not all, Bond villains. It's just
those are the ones you hear about.
The percentage of people in EVE Online who are Bond villains is much higher than in many other games. So anything that universe could possibly spin off into
Hail
something
Hydra.
else. Yeah, right? Right? It's Gary Shandling's all the way down. So, but in several different ways, the Eve universe has intrigued people who are not Bond villains for ages, but everybody just bounces right off the interface and the difficulty and, you know, how much joy veteran players get at telling you, like, oh, no, you can't, this is literally too hard for you. It's literally too complicated. Yeah, spreadsheets. Now get out of here. Leave my game. But obviously they want to try to export some of that fascination to the rest of the universe. So do it as a shooter, do it as a space combat kind of sim thing, do it on a much smaller, discrete scale that is still somehow attached to the larger universe. Great idea. It would be really nice if they could, like, get it done. But yes, anyway.
Yeah.
So,
well, Matt, appreciate you calling, man.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
Is this something you're going to be doing like every week with us, or is it all depending on, you know, either you getting up or what?
It all depends. You know, just, you know, what's going on.
Well, hopefully you get that Batman downloaded, Cold Heart. You get to play it, and if you do, give us a call back, you know, when you can, and let us know how it was, and just call in when you can, man. Love to hear from you.
Will do.
It's going to be a long time before we get you back, so yeah, having you call in is great, and you know we will always give you the time. So
stay
just
behind your
call in.
desk, please, so that we can go buy toys together.
Yes.
Very good.
All right. Well, have a great night, guys.
All right, man.
Have a great morning.
Have a good morning. Yeah, talk to you later. I appreciate it. If you, obviously, we're wrapping up the show here, but don't forget our phone number, 334-272-9228. A ton of people in the chat room joined us since we've been there, Straximus being one of them. Cavalier UK, DDT7, Lavos, Flinks, Grazit, Houdini 1919, Multile, also Monolithic Tentacled is also in there. Nabokov Fan 87, Nathan 92, and Stufu in the chat room as well. Just wanted to thank all of them for joining us throughout the episode. And thanks for everybody for joining us in the chat room, as well as everyone listening on the stream or even on their radios as well. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. We really appreciate it. Go to ingamechat.net. You can join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at colonyofgamers.com. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're on Steam, we've got a Steam group you can join up with over there and play games with us and other listeners. Don't forget, tomorrow, Silver Ball Sunday is going to play some Star Wars games. It is Star Wars Day tomorrow, so figured we'd do that. And also next week at the Retro Game Planet in Prattville, it was where that's at. They're doing their tournament, their SNES Mario Kart tournament and grand opening. Lots of good stuff over there, so go by there, check it out, and then come back and listen to the show. We want to thank everybody for being here, and we're going to leave you with music from Mech Warrior 2. Have a great week. We will see you next Saturday.